Hello there, welcome back here on Prime Morning. It's time for us to get into Prime Insight. If you just joined us here on the show, very good morning to you, and I hope you're doing good. Now you can be a part of the conversation we're having here on the show on our social media page on Joy Prime TV, on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. If you're on Facebook, it's Joy Prime, and that's where you can send your messages to us. Our WhatsApp line is very active. You can also drop your messages ahead of time. A big thank you to Nutri Snacks this morning for making it happen. And as always, you can find it in the supermarkets, in the marketplaces, wherever you go. It's everywhere. Just ask for Nutri Snacks, and you're good to go. It's very delicious. The kids love it. It's the one biscuit that you will never regret, enjoying it. All right. So please do go ahead and grab yours this morning, and make sure you spread the love as well. It's very important that you do so. It's a Monday morning, and you know what we do on Mondays here on the Prime Insight. We take a look at some very interesting conversations. Of course, today we're taking our attention to breaking the barriers, building bridges, empowering women against all odds. Interestingly, yesterday, a lot of men were empowered by fellow men, so to speak, even though we expected that to have come from the opposite sex. We didn't really enjoy that much, but we're good. Few of the men that I've spoken to, had to, celebrate themselves, unfortunately. But we're good, okay? We're good. We believe that women empowerment is the only thing that we can do to ensure women are able to move from, greater heights to greater heights. And so we're very, very, very interested in getting into that conversation. I'll introduce my guests in the studio in a bit. I'm sure they have different opinion of what I'm saying right now, but we'll find out about that in a bit. But this morning, that's what we're looking at. And I've got a few other information that I'll be sharing with you here on the show as we progress. And so you want to wait for that information as well. But I'm privileged to have in the studio two beautiful women to help us with the conversation. So let me introduce them to you quick. Lillian Ike is the founder of Lillian Ike Foundation, the CEO of Visionary African Women Summit and Awards, and she is here with me this morning. Also have here Tini Anona Ufunyanya, also here. She's a barrister in Nigeria, and I'm going to find out a bit more about their names. But let me welcome them first. So, good morning, ladies. How are you doing? You good?
Yeah, very well. Thank you.
Oh, that was a nice chorus. Very well, thank you. It was a very nice chorus. But let me begin with you. So, how did you spend your Father's Day yesterday?
Well, to be sincere, I didn't even know yesterday was Father's Day.
Oh.
Yeah, because I feel there's not much importance attached to Father's Day, unlike when we have Women's Day.
Yeah.
We celebrate ourselves more than the men. So I think the men have a lot of work to do.
And we blame you for, getting us to where we are right now, seriously. You women have not done enough. And we blame you for that.
I don't know how, because I know when it comes to Women's
we
Day,
we do it better for you people.
That's
so
not
we expect that you do it same for us.
No, that's not true. We celebrate ourselves more.
Oh, really?
Yes, we do. Because when it comes to Women's Day, like I know since this day we've had nothing less than 5 Women's Day, because we keep celebrating International Women's Day almost.
And I don't know why it keeps coming up like that. Unfortunately, I mean, every single month we have something to do with women.
Yeah, exactly.
You're special, and that's what it is at the end of the day. And we appreciate you guys for it. Just that we have now noticed that you don't like us that much, so we'll stick to celebrating ourselves. If that works. Yeah. Yourself, you had anything?
Okay, so thank you, by the way. Belated Happy Father's Day to all fathers out there, and all the father figures, by the way. Okay, so the thing is, just like my colleague here said, I think the men take life too seriously and basically think nothing is worth being excited about.
Okay.
So it's a world where they think the women are childish by probably taking everything more seriously and trying to celebrate their little milestones here and there. So I think our men have to do better by maybe celebrating the little milestones. It's not all about chasing the money, but while you chase it, always look back and know that there is always something to be thankful about.
That's true.
So I think the Men's Day celebration doesn't get as much traction as it should, simply because those people who are the celebrants do not take it as seriously as they should. So, and that's why you find out that in our places of worship, you know, even on the day that men are to be celebrated, the women are the ones basically showing up on behalf of these men.
You know.
So yes, please, you guys should like relax a bit, chill a bit, and take life like jeje, small like that. So yeah, that's what I have to say. Congratulations on yesterday for the men. Yeah.
Well, it's justified, but you see, you're the same people that make us chase the money without even thinking that we need to celebrate ourselves. Because the moment we stop chasing the money, that's another conversation. Yes, because the responsibilities are there. But I mean, like you rightly said, I think that we're just putting too much, you know, seriousness in what we're doing as men, and we need to just slow down a bit, you know, because once we're able to give ourselves that you know, recognition of you have done enough, celebrate yourself, then you also can compliment it and make it happen. They've succeeded in convincing me to believe that they did well.
Yeah, we do.
The strength of a woman. Anyway, so before we get into the conversation, let me allow you guys to introduce yourselves properly. Let us get to know what you're doing, you know, in various fields that you belong to, and then we can begin with looking at how to break the barriers and build the bridges. I'll start from you.
Okay, thank you for this privilege. My name is Ambassador Chinwe Lillian. I'm the founder of Lillian Iki Foundation. It's an NGO and the convener of the Visionary African Women Summit. Okay,
and yourself,
yes,
Tini?
Yes, my name, right. Yeah, you tried. My name is Ifnaya Tine Anona. I'm a practicing lawyer of over 10 years experience. I'm a public speaker, then popularly known as a fixer lawyer on Instagram, and entrepreneur of excellence, repute, yes. Then I'm a business coach, strategist, and a developer, amongst other things. And most importantly, I'm a woman.
Ah, like that. Most importantly, now over the period, African women have actually come under criticisms. There's been instances where women have been felt like they're becoming their own enemies. Now, some have disputed that fact. Others have created a certain environment to ensure that that notion that people are actually carrying around women is also, you know, one way or the other disputed. But we've never really been able to, as it were, you know, sit in conversations like this. And so this morning we want to see how best we can address the issue of women breaking the barriers, building bridges, and ensuring that, you know, together they are able to empower themselves. Because empowerment, I believe, that begins from where it's supposed to begin from. Because if you're a woman and you're empowering each other and you're coming strongly against whatever it is or barrier you want to fight on the other side of the world, then it gives me, who is sitting on the fence, also, you know, the idea that you've already started something that I can complement. And so adding to it does not really become a problem. So my first question that I want to find out, and I want us to put it in the perspective of African women, all right? So if you look at African women, there's a notion, no two ways about it. How did we get to arrive at this particular idea of women don't celebrate themselves, women don't support each other, women don't impact in each other's lives and don't empower themselves? Okay,
let me correct that impression, because first of all, I don't believe in the school of thought that says women should not support themselves or they don't support themselves. Okay. Do you understand? Yeah. I so much believe in women supporting women, empowerment, empowering girl child, empowering women, and I so much believe in it. So the people that keep saying, if you notice, it comes from the the male folks. Okay. You know, the patriarchal system, the socialization system, and you know, back in the early days, there's this notion. They were the one that embedded this notion on women that we are not supposed to be we're not supposed to be heard, rather we are supposed to be seen. You know, and you know, some people now grew up with that fact that we're not supposed to be we're not supposed to be heard. Yeah. So now I feel the notion has been, we have to break that notion, because when you put that into people's head, that women are not supposed to support themselves, you know, they grew up with it, and before you know, they keep fighting themselves. I don't believe in that school of thought. myself, I believe in women supporting women. We support ourselves. There are a lot of things we've done together as women. You see, breaking barriers, gender roles, women in politics. Go to parliament today, you see a lot of women doing good things in the society. And these people that still women, they don't have two heads, you know. So those people that says women don't support them, so I don't know where they got that from. And like I said, I think it is the men that embedded that notion on them. And that should be scrapped because women are actually supporting women. There are a lot of things women are doing in the society. You know, okay, there's this conference coming up like this, we have Visionary African Women Summit. There are a lot of women coming in from different African countries for this. Okay, in a situation whereby they're not supporting women, they're not supposed to they're not supposed to be there at the first place, but they want to listen, they want to be a change maker in their societies, they want to be at the forefront of change. Some of them are coming in that are women in politics, women in business, and what have you. So women are there to break all odds and build bridges.
Tina, let me I don't know if you also do agree with what she's saying though, but I am looking at where we all started from and how we can erase that notion. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the most important thing that we need to do. In your case, what do you see on the African continent when it comes to women?
Okay. Like I always say, I think I am best suited for this particular conversation. Reason being that I'm a mother of 3 girls, by the way. And my father gave birth to us 6 girls. So all my life, it's just been...
You've been just running around.
Yes, I've just been surrounded by women. Now, the thing is, I would like to say that this is a notion from the pit of hell, by the way. It's a fallacy as long as I'm concerned, of course. The thing is now, show me a child who hasn't been raised by a woman. As a matter of fact, in a home where the mother dies early, you find out that if care is not taken, the children that would eventually come out of that home may be dysfunctional. And that's to tell you that the pillar of every growth, the pillar of every development, as long as individuals are concerned, has to do with women. So now tell me, when a woman raises a child or raises children, and eventually they grow up to become adults who eventually we now refer to as man and woman. Now, this particular woman has been raised by a woman. Then at what point do we now begin to segregate and begin to like erupt from nowhere to say that the woman suddenly doesn't support this? For crying out loud, this woman actually raised this woman. This woman made this woman to become who she is today. So I just think it's something that has been propagated to further spread chaos and anarchy in the society, and we shouldn't run with it. Because as long as I am concerned, like, women are always at the forefront of supporting other women just to be where they feel we should be. Like, we've been marginalized in every sector. In sports, people basically feel that there are sports women shouldn't engage in. So I think it's all up. It's within this, maybe the Jet generation, the millennial, the Gen Zs, that we've now come to find out that no, it's okay for a woman to be a plumber. It's okay for a woman to be a farmer. It's okay for a woman to surpass the stage of being a cook in the kitchen to become a doctor, a renowned doctor that will be known around the world. Prior to that time, we've just felt that the place of the woman is in the kitchen. So they keep saying these things just to dampen our spirits and just keep relegating us to the background. So I do not agree with that. It's nothing like that. As a matter of fact, the most supporters of women are women. The only thing is that we need more platforms to showcase the support. So that's what it is. So yes, women support women.
Interesting thing is that I've been in conversations, you know, where it's about women, and these I'm talking about practical examples of women that I've had conversations with, and they've spoken ill about how some women have not given them certain opportunities to actually realize your dreams. And this is not a hearsay, because I engage with a lot of people in my daily life, and when I come across conversations like that, I feel a bit worried about it, because in your case, it's like you're rightly saying right now, this is a no conversation. This is something that you're not experiencing, and even if you are, it's not like it's made to, you know, to be understood where it is coming from.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, now this is what it is. In a situation where I believe so much in the concept of equity, of course, as a lawyer, as opposed to equality.
Okay.
Because the thing is, nothing can ever be equal. But what we're fighting for is give us a platform where we can all play we can all have fair play.
Okay.
That way, if I am shorter than you are, I think it's you can actually place this table and ask us to stand on it. Of course, you're taller than I am, so you're going to see farther than I would see. So what we're preaching is, you do not give us equal tables. You're going to give me something higher while you give him something lower, knowing that when we eventually stand, we're on the same playing ground. So that's what it is. Now, women do not have enough opportunities. I'll give you, for example, in a home. A man can marry as much as 4 wives. Now, when a man marries 4 wives, what are you trying to do? You're trying to pitch the 4 of them against each other. And of course, the 4 of us are trying to fight for a spot, which is that man. So at the end of the day, you turn around to say, you see, they're not supporting them. Why would we support ourselves? We're trying to get the attention of our husband, which is just one person. Now, turn the table around, where a woman marries 4 husbands. Now you find out that the same 4 men will start fighting for our attention. So at that point, the men will no longer support themselves because they are trying to get the mind of their wives. So that's what it is. We do not have a level playing ground. So you do not beat a child and still turn around to tell the child how to cry. No, it's a case of give us the playing ground, give us equal opportunity as the men, then let's know who is supporting who and who is not supporting who. So I think that's what the issue is here.
Has it really been a collective agenda? Is this the mind of other women who believe that they are also in a certain, space where they feel that they have not really been empowered? Or it's a mind of a few people who think that, well, we are different. Okay, we don't belong there. Okay, now we're Africans, and we know, for example, in the African entertainment industry, you know that it's always like 10 men against 1 woman. You see like 10 men trending as musicians. Meanwhile, it's just 1 woman that we all know. Meanwhile, there are other women who have very good voice, that are well talented. All they need is a stage, all they need is a platform. But of course, we know that there are natural occurrences that would naturally seem like it would limit the woman, except that woman is someone who is very tenacious, who is very dedicated, who is ready against all odds to step out of the barriers that nature has created for her. Now, we have, based on morphology and based on how God has created us, how we've been wired naturally, women have to carry babies, they have to give birth, they have to nurture their babies, they have to breastfeed. For crying out loud, they have monthly menstruation that does a lot to women. They have ovulation cycles. So these are things that naturally has been embedded in women to limit us in a way, which I do not blame anyone for, by the way. We do not choose the way we are created. Now, when we have all these limitations, you find out that those ones who eventually thrive in a particular industry are those ones who naturally may want to alter the course of nature. Of course, we see people go for surgeries, maybe to turn their wombs upside down, simply because they do not want to keep going through the trauma of menstruation monthly. So now, when we have people who have gone out of their comfort zone to do these things just so they can maybe climb the career ladder, or maybe they can grow the businesses and live the dream that they want, you find out that they may likely be the only ones in the spotlight for women. Now, how do you expect some other woman who is at home and has 10 kids to support that woman? Of course, the woman is living her dream. She may not be happy about that. So now you find out that most times she nags. Most times she just feels, we're all human beings. That's the simple truth. She may not be envious of you. She may not be jealous of you. But she feels that growing up, she had the dream that you have and you're living. So it's only natural for her to tend to support the other gender instead of you. Because she just feels like, why are you the one there? Why can't I be there? So it's just a case of, nature has naturally put us in that disadvantaged position. So it's not a case of women not supporting women. It's a case of, it's a man's world, if you ask me. Okay. Yes. Lillian, you engage a lot of people. I mean, a lot of women for that matter. Sometimes when you listen to them, do you think that you feel a bit frustrated that they have been put in a certain place, like just like a barrister is saying, naturally you are already there. Now you need to come and fight these external forces as well. Do you come across that often?
Yeah, this is on. I experience a lot of this. When you see a lot of women reaching out to you, telling you that they want to do a certain business, but you say their husband would not let them, and you see a lot of them, they have potentials in them, but they cannot exploit those potentials. So when you see those women, the best thing you can do is for you to encourage them, enlighten them, and let them know that they have a voice. They have to stand and fight for themselves. Then secondly, like my colleague also said, sometimes family issues. When you have a husband who is not supportive, you have so much potentials and you have a lot of things to explore, but your husband is not a supporting husband. You see some of them in terms of you see them every year they're giving birth, and okay, now tell me, how do you expect a woman who keeps giving birth on every year to explore her potentials. You know, some of them, they don't go to work, and these are people that they have skills, they have good things in them, they want to explore, but because they're relegated at the background, they cannot explore those things. So most times I try to encourage them and let them know that they can actually live true to their dreams. You have a dream, those dreams should not be dampened, maybe either by marriage or by negative comments. You know, you have to break that barrier, succeed against us to make sure you come out victorious. So most times, like I said, there are a lot of women that want to, shine. A lot of women that want to, they have a lot of things in them that they want to explore, but because of family background, cultural background, again, also have a lot of negative things to do on women. Like, let me use the Northerners as an example. Yeah. You know, they believe that their women are supposed to be seen and not to be heard. So you see a lot of them, you see them at the background. They don't want to, you know, because they want to please the family, they want to please their husbands. They do, okay, let me use one as an example. One of there's a lady that she's a woman that wants to. We're using her as an advert, as like a PR person. Okay. You know, so when we displayed her picture, she called me that that she would love to do this, but her husband is not in support of this. I was like, okay, why? She said, you know, she's a Muslim and their culture doesn't permit them to do some certain kind of things. So you see, so some of them actually want to do some things, but their cultural background, religious background will make them, they will just dampen their spirit and they will not go further to explore their potentials.
Interesting conversation. If you just join us here on the show, this is our prime insight for this morning. We're breaking the barriers, building bridges. We're empowering women against all odds. In the studio this morning, I've got over here Ambassador Chinwe Lillian. She's in charge of the Lillian Ike Foundation. She's also the CEO of Visionary African Women's Summit and Awards, which we'll be talking about. It's something that is coming up. They'll share some insight with us as well. And I have Tine Anona Ifnaya. She's also a barrister, and she's also here with us this morning to help us understand the issues much better. You can send your messages to us ahead of time, and you can be a part of the conversation. If you're a woman and you've got something you want to share with us, you can also send it to us. Our WhatsApp line is active as well. So from all indications, clearly, we've begun on a very wrong foot. I mean, from all indications, knowing that there has been certain concepts that have been planted in the heads of many women that are not able to make them, as it were, you know, explore their full potential. And it seems to be becoming a problem. Now, what are some of the things that we need to do to correct some of these things? And Tina, if I can start from you, how do we correct this? Because clearly, from all that you are saying, it means that we have started on the wrong foot. We need to correct them. How do we go about it as women?
Okay, yeah. So I think that with the generation now and with the whole thing about the new media, about the social media, about everything that has been happening, conversations have been going on, and I must say that steps have actually been have been in place to correct most of the notions, age-long notions that has been passed and that has been limiting women. So I would just suggest that first of all, especially in Africa, our government should put in place policies to at least put women on a level playing ground with their counterparts, the male counterparts. So when it comes to menstruation, I think in a workplace, short leave should be given to women to at least take care of themselves. Yes. So I think it breaks my heart to see that there are women who have very painful menstruations. There are some that have to take drips every month. Some have to be on pills every month.
Some go off totally.
Exactly. And in a situation where this keeps happening, you find out that their male counterparts will be the ones getting all the promotions. They'll be the ones getting all the allowances for probably working hard and probably being dedicated and probably being more knowledgeable, simply because they do not face the physiological changes that happens to us as women. And for crying out loud, there are those ones who have very near-death experience whenever they ovulate. So these are things our government should factor into their policies, into their laws, into their regulations to make sure that it accommodates these things that happens to us as women. And now look at the issue of 3 months maternity leave. For crying out loud, I think that's not fair. That's not enough. Whereby you have a child and for no for no decisions of yours, you're compelled to leave your newborn after 3 months to return back to work. And I think it's unfair for anyone to come and tell you to want to guilt trip you into believing that you're not doing enough. Why would you leave this child? You do not have a choice. Your husband cannot take care of the home front alone. Your husband cannot provide for the home alone, so you just have to return back to work. So I just think like the government should increase these things. I do not think 6 months is a lot. Now, another thing is, even for those ones who are being employed in the private sector, I think the government can actually map out like plans on how to subsidize the salaries of those people who are even in the private sector. That way, your employer can actually give you 6 months and still pay you within the 6 months. Because the thing is, some organizations will tell you can take as long as you want to take care of your child, but they are not going to pay you. And as a result of that, you see people running back to work because they have to earn to take care of their kids. So I just think like the government shouldn't just let the private sector on their own, because I run a business as well, and I know how difficult it's been to keep that running and be able to maintain the people that I pay and all of that. So I just feel like the government should have allowances. For crying out loud, there should be a database whereby if a company employs 3 women that are married and that are within the childbearing age, this should also be within the database of the government, so that whenever they're on maternity leave, at that stage, the government can step in to help. That way, the woman is not pressured to return back to work. Yes, and we have a lot of women, because we've had this notion, especially with our fathers and our grandfathers and all of that, we've had this notion that just as you always say that women should be seen and not heard. Now, I just feel like that's another thing, fallacy from the pit of hell. But I am happy the conversation is changing. So I think the government should try to beyond, I think our NGOs are being overlabeled because a lot of them are self-funded. The government do not do enough to help. And now this I know, and that's why I know that CSOs and NGOs are very vital parts of our society. So I think the government should do more, should go beyond the stage of sharing sanitary pads to actually do the right things that they should do. Create schools and grant scholarship to the females. They should set up like policies to intentionally encourage the girl child to do more in education. And the thing is, it's not enough to give them scholarships to go to school. Beyond going to school when they graduate, what avenues are you creating for these people to be able to work while taking care of their homes? Because the truth is, I believe so much in balance. If you're not careful, you find yourself pursuing career and abandoning the home front, or you find yourself pursuing the home front and abandoning the career. And that's why at the end of the day, a lot of women, all they do is to take care of their kids, give birth. Then when the kids eventually grow, they're 50. They cannot work actively. So I just think like the government has a lot to do, and it has to be in the form of synergy, where the Nigerian government is synergizing with the Ghanaian government to make sure that across West Africa, women are given more platform to thrive. That way we wouldn't be saying they're not supporting each other. Okay.
Lillian, what do you have to say on that too as well?
Like she has said it, that the most important thing is the government. Yeah, because let me use...
Do you guys think they listen to you at all? The government listen to women?
That's the problem, because there are lots of NGOs, but the NGOs alone cannot...
Which are funded by women, actually.
Which are mostly funded by women, but the NGOs cannot do it alone. So we need the government to come, let them play their own part. You know, there should be a signage between the government and the NGOs coming together. It's not about going to schools to sensitize. Yeah, we will do our own best. A lot of us goes to school. As a founder, as a humanitarian as well, we go to school on almost like every week to sensitize the girl child, you know, on girl child education, empowerment, and what have you. But now we still have a lot of things to do, because even some of these things we are doing, funds are not coming in from the government. You hardly get grants from the government. So sometimes it's self-sponsored. Okay, now at what length can that project sustain? Can you be able to sustain it where there's no much funds to do it? Do you understand? So I think the government have a lot of things to do. Let's work hand to hand to make sure that the country is better. And secondly, when it comes to students, these girl child, for instance, you know, for us to attain to this level, we all came from we were once a girl child, you know. So we got this training from our parents. They imparted the training was embedded on us. Then now as a woman, now how can we nurture the young ones coming in? We have to nurture them positively. We have to remove that mindset, the olden days, what we had in our head in the olden days, that women are supposed to be at the background. They're not supposed to be head, you know. But like now, status quos are really changing. What we have then is no longer now. I notice a lot of women are coming out to speak. A lot of them are coming out to even bring out what they have in them, to showcase themselves and to showcase their talents. A lot of them are coming, and because we were able to sensitize them, it's no longer business as usual. You know, the goalpost has changed. So like my colleague said, we need synergy. The government should come together. Let's work together, both the NGOs, the CSOs, and the government. Let's work together and make the society a better place.
Okay, sorry, can I say something?
Yeah, quick, and then we'll move on to the African Women's Summit.
Okay, so I just feel like, aside the government, because in all honesty, at times we overburden these people, I just feel like we have a lot of work to do in the home front as well. Now, you see parents basically who feel that a particular job or a particular maybe role belongs to a particular gender. So you find out that in a home, they feel like the boys shouldn't be in the kitchen, the girls should be in the kitchen, or the girls shouldn't play football, no, go and play with your doll. I think all those things should be regulated to the background right now. If your daughter picks interest in playing football with the boys, for crying out loud, allow her play that football. That may be why her calling lies. Because that's why you find out that we have the men seem to be the ones taking the forefront when it comes to soccer around the world. And that's because, and not because we do not have girls who can actually measure up to that, but because at the early stage of our lives, our parents try to, the next thing they tell you, you want to become a tomboy, you know, you shouldn't be playing, go and take that pink doll. No, do not let the child take that pink doll. Enroll your kids to learn coding, enroll them to learn 1 or 2 things in tech. Allow your son to be in the kitchen. His calling may be to be a chef. So you do not go about being the one who wants to use your own hand to create that segregation in your home. Then tomorrow you come out again to tell us how men are not supporting women. No. So that's what I want to say. Then I think when it comes to the government as well, I think when it comes to women being in politics, I think they need to do more. Give these people forms for free. For crying out loud, a lot of people have the capacity to rule at various levels, but they cannot even afford what it takes to campaign. They cannot afford to even buy the forms for these particular things. But they are endowed with the natural abilities and the leadership skills that we need to actually move the West African region forward. So I think we should give them all the support that they need. We should reduce the cost of campaign for these people. We can actually even pinpoint them and appoint them to those positions. That way, I feel the women will have more playing ground, and nobody will be saying we're not supporting each other.
And I hugely agree with you on that. You know, the issue of buying the forms. These forms are very expensive.
Very expensive, yeah.
You know, and yes, you might say a woman can also work and make that money and all of that. But at the end of the day, what's the kind of, you know, notion you're trying to create out there? So I think that is something we need to take a look at. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, let's talk about the African Women's Summit and awards. What's happening with it?
Okay, the African Women's Summit is an initiative of Lilian Ike Foundation.
Okay.
Yeah, so is a gathering of women from different African countries. At least we're expecting women from at least 24, 25 African countries.
That's a lot.
Yes, that's a lot. So this event is taking place on the 22nd, 23rd of
this month?
Of this month, yes. So everybody comes to Accra for this summit. Okay, it
happens every year, or this is the first time?
No, it happens every day. It's a yearly event.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a yearly event. So it's a gathering of women where women come under a roof to learn, relearn, and unlearn. You know, different women. We have women in politics, women in business. Women it's about women empowerment, where women that wants to be at the forefront of change. They come build careers, break barriers, and build bridges. You know, so just for us to impact women, we want them to have a voice. We want them to stand firm and impact in their various societies when they go back to their various.
And it's a 2-day event, or a 2-day event.
It's a 2-day.
Where is it happening?
It's happening at EcoBank PLC, Morocco Avenue. Ghana here.
Okay. You can put that in the Google map, then you will do a lot of good if you are not aware of or you've not been to that place before. So you can just be there. We're inviting other women to speak, politicians and all that.
We have a lot of dignitaries, politicians. Like I said, it's going to be a gathering of women of different categories. You know, women in politics, we have women in business, even farmers, women in entrepreneurs.
Agriculture and all that.
Yes, agriculture. So just women, there are lots of dignitaries, like the Minister of Women Affairs Nigeria should be coming.
Oh.
Yes, the National Center for Development of Women will also be, and so many dignitaries, so many African women.
Okay, all right, and it's again, it's happening on the 22nd
and 23rd.
Yes. So it's 2 days event. If you want to be there, is it free? How do we participate?
Yes, it's a ticketed event.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a ticketed event that is going for 500 Ghana cedis.
Which is cool.
2 days, which is cool.
2 days, yeah.
It's 2 days, and lunch will be provided. Tea break and lunch, and certificates of attendance will also be provided. Summit materials.
Okay.
So, it's something that whoever comes there will definitely benefit. They're just not going just to come for fun, but a lot of lessons will be learned.
I want to believe that there will be one-on-one interactions with the people who will become, the dignitaries who will be coming. Yes. Sometimes when you go for these events, after we are done, the dignitaries just find their way.
Okay,
and then those who came to... Yeah, sure.
There's a networking section.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a networking section.
Because I don't like the fact that they will come and speak, and then when we are done, we go their way.
No, that's why I said it's a 2 days event.
Okay.
It's going to be an intense program. It's not just you come, you speak, you go. No. The reason why even the participants are there is for them to learn. Do you understand? And also network. That is one of the most important things as well. You also have to network with other women, because you know some of them that come in, they want to see that, okay, a woman in position, there's a woman who can actually share his or her experiences to other women. At least from there you say, oh, that means I can actually I can actually do what I feel I can do without being relegated at the background.
Okay. All right, it makes sense.
So the Visionary African Women's Summit, and by the way, we came all the way from Nigeria for this particular event, and that's to tell you that it's no joke. It's a gathering of women from every part. And the funny thing, it's not just women, the men will be there as well.
You can't do without us. We'll be there to support you, of course.
So now it comes in 2 phases. We have the summit angle of it, and we have the award angle of it.
Okay.
And yes, we're not just awarding women, we're also awarding the men. Yes, because we're here because the men were first there. So we never fail to acknowledge that. And there are men who have been at the forefront of change supporting women. We call them the he for she.
Yeah.
So we're going to award a few of them coming from different parts of Africa. So yes, that's what it's going to be. So, and I want to really give a shout out to EcoBank, who really partnered with us on this. So they gave us some materials and even the venue. So I think it's a big shout out.
And this is what we want to see.
Exactly.
This is things we want to see.
They will be there on that day as well. We have very great resource people, keynote speakers. We are going to have various panel sessions to talk on topical issues. So I just think we all need to be there. It's a ticketed event, but that's because it's going to cater for your lunch, your tea break, your summit materials, your certificates.
And 500 for 2 days is really, cool.
So, and
super cool.
Our speakers are not just going to speak and go. They are going to be there to take key questions, to respond to it, to give you their handles in case if you want them to mentor you and all of that. So I really encourage everyone to be there. We have people coming from Senegal, Kenya, Rwanda, Nigeria, of course, Ghana here. We actually have some people coming from the UK, so it's going to be a power-packed event. Just make yourself available for it, 22nd, 23rd, at the EcoBank headquarters here in Ghana, Morocco Street. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's there on Google Maps.
Yes.
Just make yourself available, and thank you.
All right, so that's what you need to know about it. Now, is there any number else that we can reach, if we want to contact you? Is there a number like that? Yeah, maybe you can put that out there for people to get to know and call,
Okay, you can call +234 91 368 27471.
I'll repeat that again, please.
+234 90 368 27471. You can also follow us on Instagram, Visionary_African Women. We're also on Facebook, Visionary African Women Summits and Awards.
And we're also on Instagram at the Fixer Lawyer. Please follow me, ask your questions. I am always there in my DM to answer you there. Thank you.
Okay, and your Instagram account as well, so they can disturb you people over there.
Ilianiki Foundation _.
Okay, all right, so that's how you can connect with them and get to listen to a lot of things that will change your life. If you're one woman out there who's been keeping up that notion of, okay, yeah, this is what I came to meet. They say women cannot do anything and we're not supposed to be doing A, B, C, D. And so you're stuck to that and it's not giving you any growth. There are people you can talk to, and especially for this summit that you can attend and make sure that you learn a lot from there. And those of you who go for these summits, and when you go, you keep in yourself too much shyness and too much whatever. Your courage level is always, you go and come back the same way. So when you go there, be open up, you know, make sure you're speaking, put the shyness in the house, you know, and go with a very open heart and speak to whoever you want to speak to. Because at the end of the day, if you're given the opportunity and you go and you still go and sit there and keep quiet and go back home, we'll still be going back to this conversation all the time, and you still keep coming up and saying things that will make us want to talk about this. We want to progress, so help us progress, and we'll be glad you know, you did. Anyway, any last words you want to say before we go and you know, move on to the next thing?
Okay, thank you so much for Joy Prime Morning for this opportunity. Like I said at the beginning of this conversation, we don't take it for granted. So please, women, we want you to come out en masse for this summit. It's going to be one of a kind program. It's a program that once you attend, you're not going to go back home the same. We want to build your confidence. We want you to come out and speak. We want you to go back and make an impact in your families, schools, backgrounds, and your society as well. So please come out for this summit, and I believe you will enjoy it.
Awesome. So let me say a big thank you to you, Ambassador Chinwe Lillian of the Lillian AK Foundation, CEO of Visionary African Women Summit and Awards, and Tine Onona Ifu Nyanya, also barrister. Ifunanya, right?
Yes.
Oh, so they told me I know Ifunanya very well. Ifunanya is popular.
Yes.
Yeah, Ifunanya represents love. I'll find out from my producers why they turn it to Ifunanya. So it's Ifunanya, and she's a barrister Nigerian, and they're all here in Ghana for the summit. So please make sure that you also go for the summit. Thank you so much for sharing this. You could have been selfish with it, but you came here to let us know about it. That alone, we say a big thank you. Representing women at large. God bless you.